Oh,
That's new.
Yeah.
yeah. So does
We
it
have to
show-
consent. I had to consent.
Did you have to, Jane?
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's new for me. I've
Yeah.
not seen that before. All right. So that's the one we're gonna, I think, start with. At least that's the one that's on the top of my package.
Okay.
So I did something new here, and I just put the jewels here, so they're all in one spot for the cards. Also, this funny little circle and the ribbon that you're going to need.
Thanks,
That way-
Diane. That's great.
Yeah. I think it's a little better for two reasons, not keeping the packages from bulging and leaving marks. Sometimes the gems will leave marks through the envelopes. So move that out of the way. And oh yeah, I was going to go over. So you need your memento, and I'm using pale papaya and soft succulent through the 4 different layouts. But use what you have. And then I'm using some blends. I'm using soft succulent. So whatever you're using to match, I hope that some of these colors here would just go with anything. I'm using soft succulent, pale, polished pink, pale papaya, daffodil delight, and Highland heather. So, you know, you'll find something that works for sure. And then you got your stamp set, your new stamp set. And actually, I should give everybody a second to, that's one thing I didn't think of, is when you have a brand new stamp set, you may not have put it together yet. So our first one's going to be on this large stamp. Get that one ready. I'm just looking for my large block. Okay. Not there. Stace, I think you're making 2 sets, right?
Yeah, but I could just do the second one later if you guys are just working on one. So go ahead and just go ahead. I will catch up.
Or do whatever you like.
Yeah.
So for this one, I chose the little card Big Thanks greeting. And so these are those soft Stitch So Sweetly dies. And I think I'm going to go with my soft succulent.
Actually, Chris texted me and said, Mom, can you send 5 thank you cards with Dad tomorrow? So I'm like, okay, we know what we're doing tonight.
Perfect. And then when you're ready, on the other large rectangle that's stitched with scallops, I'm going to stamp the big flower in memento, and then I'm going to color it in with Highland heather and not just jade, soft succulent blends. So these are very similar to the new contours dies. The contours dies are just a little larger scallops, and instead of the stitching, they have little holes in the scallops, which are kind of nice. I'm not sure I'm going to get them, but you know, ask me in a month. I may have changed my mind by then. Imagine. I'm going through today. I grabbed my blends and I'm testing them out and going through which ones I need to replace because they dried out. So that happens. Alrighty. And it doesn't really matter where I put it. Maybe a little more on an angle.
Little card, big thanks.
Yeah. It just fits on that rectangle. I'm just going to sneak over. Oh, can I do this? No.
Are you using your new ring? It looks really bright there.
Well, you know what? I turned the ring off. The what's it called? Ring light. I turned it off because I was overexposed. And I have new lights over here, just like you. I put some really strong new lights, light bulbs in the overhead one. We don't need those little ones much anymore, Stacy, when people are over, because those lights are very bright. So I don't need the ring light on, but
I'm sure my neighbors at night, I actually close the blinds because I'm sure they think, what is she doing in here? Because it's so bright.
so bright. I've had the Archon stand now since January, and I only discovered last weekend that it goes up and down. I thought it was always only one height. So you learn something new all the time.
So I'm sorry, Diane, you're using the Highland Heather to color it in?
Yes.
Okay.
The paper I used is the freesia.
Okay.
So I don't know why I chose heather and not freesia. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, it just adds a contrast. It doesn't have to match exactly.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to explain what I was thinking. I'm on vacation this week, so I didn't have to go to work today either.
Nice.
Well, they're really encouraging us to take our time. And so I booked a week in July, which is actually going to be like July 1st, 2nd, and then the following week entirely, and then a week in August. I just gonna need it. And
well, you've got all your kids' birthdays in the summer too, right?
That's right.
Michelle's going to be 30 as well.
Yes, I like to be off on their birthdays, but so Michelle and Alec are exactly 5 weeks apart. So their birthdays are always on the same day of the week. So this year they're both on the Saturday. So that doesn't super affect it, but I figured I'd take that week off anyway. So I like that week. That's a good week to be off. Okay, so my Highland Heather needs repair, so I'm going to switch to freesia. I definitely need some new Highland Heather fresh freesia and not flirty flamingo. You have too many of the same letters, because when I put my blends together, on the ends I just put like the 2 letters of the words, but we have lots of FFs and RRs.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're going through the same thing we are. Nobody's been taking vacation, so they do encourage us.
Mhm.
But I just find they don't book it, and including me. So I've got a few ideas. I'm going to take the week off before my daughter goes to school. We're thinking, depending on when my son goes back, if he goes back a little bit earlier, we might all go out there and spend a week and go to PEI or do something if we can. We're thinking by August in Canada, maybe we'll be able to do something.
Sure.
So we might. But I kind of want to wait to see. When that, we just can't really confirm a time yet for that. So
I feel
for a lot of places I want to go.
Yeah, I feel for the people who have to put in because there's plant shutdown times and stuff. Because then they're kind of stuck at home or whatever. But I found that it's very stressful during this time. So the last very long weekend I had was Easter, because we got the Monday off as well. And so that held me over for a while. And then I was like, no, I'm going to need some time. And I also want to do some stuff around the house. And I thought, May, it's not always too hot. I was wrong about that, but.
Well, tomorrow, it was supposed to be so cold. And now it's, and now they're saying it's going to be 24.
Oh,
And we were supposed to
Like-
get a thunderstorm today, but that hasn't happened.
Like, it's just so unpredictable.
Goofy.
it was so hot today.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
but-
so then
so-
you can peel your ribbon off from the glue dots that are just holding it in place. And then I just tied a little knot. I'm not very happy with it. I'm going to retie it.
My problem is I've been finding on the, like, I actually get bored. Like when we've had long weekends, by the Monday, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored,
Mm.
which is horrible.
No,
And so, but I have to say this weekend, I really, really enjoyed, like, I just was able to fill my time really well. And, you know, today was just kind of a special day to celebrate Caroline a little bit. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to do this a lot more this summer, is just add a day or two onto the long weekends to fill in some time between the actual holidays I take.
Hmm.
I'm okay with, I'm going to have a 3-day work week this week. It's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, well, it's a change, right? And
that's what Rachel did was in the spring, because she had to start using holidays or lose them. So she just took a lot of either a Wednesday, so she was like off in the middle of the week, or she took a long weekend, right? She actually liked the Wednesday because it oh, how did I lose something already? Here it is. She you know, it broke up the week. So part of her challenge was, of course, she wanted to go away somewhere for her 30th, but that's not going to happen. Mind you, she does have a friend. She'll have both of her shots before her 2 weeks before her birthday. So she does have her best friend lives in LA, and she's already had both of her shots, and she's been to visit her before, and it's her 30th birthday in November. So, but she found out a month ago that her boss, who's the supervisor, so like Rachel's like sort of right below her, is pregnant. So she's going on maternity leave, and Rachel will be stepping up and taking her role. So she's learning by fire right now. So she's kind of like, oh, there goes my wonderful plans to maybe take some time and go somewhere, because now I'm going to be in the hot seat.
yes.
And it's a really good opportunity for her. So
Hey, go for it.
yeah. Well, her boss got the job by doing the same thing. And when she got back, she got promoted into that position. And the lady that came back from maternity leave got made a director. So it's I think they're trying to think and do the same thing for Rach, right? Is move her up. So
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna get my, oh, I didn't need to put that one away because we're gonna use that same big flower on the second card, as well as the two smaller ones. I'll grab another block just to make life easier.
so which one are we doing next?
The next one's the pop-up one, so it's the one on page 2 of the handout.
Okay. Because those are all
good, Jane?
stamped and
I just need one. I'm just sticking on my little greeting, and then I'm good.
Okay. So this one's a little pop-up. Doesn't photograph particularly well. I guess it photographed fairly well.
Diane, so the girls, I saw that the US people were going to Maui.
Yes.
What happened
yeah, I
to,
saw that.
so what happened to Tamara and the other Canadians?
So the Canadians, actually, I think everybody was offered an opportunity to either roll the dice and hope that they can still go, or cancel and get a credit. So of course, if they had flights, that would be credited them, but to them. But there's I think it was $2,300 is the trip value. So there was a lot of discussion amongst my friends who earned it. And then because there was earning the first one that we couldn't go to last year. And then there was this one so there was like, they ended up calling it Maui Plus. So they did a
Yeah.
little bit more. And so Tamara didn't get the refund. So whatever perks she gets, because even if you don't go, you get all the little perk things. But she said it's a $2,300 pair of flip-flops. And other people got their money back. So there are some Canadians there, even though there's not a lot of talk about it. What they've done is they've gone to the States because they have one vaccine on board, and they've driven into the States and flown from there.
Okay, so are they gonna get a second vaccine on the boat or when they
No,
get there?
no,
So they're just going with one.
they're just going with one. And
Okay.
I don't know, maybe they can get a vaccine in Hawaii. That I don't know. I just know that they did go. Some probably do have 2 vaccines, or possibly, right? There's not a lot going, but there are some. And yeah, so they were given that choice to back out. It's quite a while ago now that I think about it. I think it was in the fall.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's unfortunate, but a big decision to make, But I mean, you can still,
Yeah.
the value of the prize is, you could still take your family on a nice, or go towards the family vacation if you wanted, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do, but I'm glad I wasn't in that position. So, okay, on the pop-up one, your card has its usual score in the middle, and then there's another one here part way. So that one's going to fold in from the outside. It's going to fold in so that it goes up like this. So I'm just going to fold in towards the original fold. I'm going to look somewhere for my bone folder. There it is. And that's going to go like, you have to kind of pull it back down again, but that's basically going to sit like this. So we do that fold, and then we can take the large whites going on the inside. So we might want to do that stamping before we glue it down. It's just one pass of this stamp with the little flowers that goes on the bottom.
That's this piece.
Mhm.
No, which piece is it? Oh, it's the
long one.
it's the full one. It's the full piece though, right? Like it tucks up underneath as well, like this. Right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the full
You're going
piece,
to
not a
glue
half
it in
piece.
like this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But we're going to stamp it on the bottom. I think I'm going to stamp it first. I'm not sure that's actually what I did, but just to make sure I'm not going through a couple of layers. Now look at this pale papaya. It looks very orangey in color wise.
You know, I haven't used mine yet.
Ah. I'll try to line that up. Hope it's straight. There we go. That's pretty good. I'm going to keep that ink pad out because I'm going to stamp my flowers on with that. I'm done with this. I don't do a lot with these little border punches or border stamps from time to time, so I'm glad I was able to find a way to use this. And now for the little flower that goes in the bottom, that's just to hold this top piece open. And so you're going to stamp on this piece of pale papaya and the matching ink, one of the larger and one of the smaller flowers. And just to give you a reference point for punching them out, this is going to have to go in like the big one first, and then the little one sideways. So I guess you could do them both sideways. Okay. And you want to look at your punch, and it doesn't matter which way, these are all the same size petals. But just for stamping, you want to have the larger one with a petal facing up, and then the smaller one with them looking like it looks like an X. go. Stingy, wasn't I, with the paper? With the paper.
Frugal, say frugal.
Frugal. I'll slide this one through here.
Oh, wow. It's been a long time since I had a stamp that was that hard.
A tough one to
A
punch.
new one. Yeah, a brand new one that was really.
It's good that we're trying them out to make sure. So how many times have we bought a punch and not used it right away? And then you go to return it because there's an issue and you can't because it's past. So then just like with the daisy flower, we're going to offset a bit and glue in between. So a glue dot's probably really good for that. Or a little bit of liquid glue. I looked at, oh, I have to call demonstrator support actually. I looked at all of the recent glue dots that I bought all in one fell swoop, and most of them are not even sticky. I have 4 packages to return, but I
Oh,
keep
you're
forgetting to
kidding.
call them. Yeah, this last one I got is probably pretty good, so it's sticky enough. Okay, I'll close that ink pad.
Oh, wow.
Tough to punch.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just, like I said, I haven't had one like this in a long time. It's testing my energy here.
And then on your little sheet, there's one of the green genial gems. And they're new. And I love how there are 2 colors in them. And they're kind of like those opaque ones we had at Christmas time that kind of look different depending on what you put them with. And so 2 colors goes a long way. Get a lot. Turn that up. And then I'm just going to put another glue dot to hold it in place. There we go. And now it's ready to go inside of my card. Clean these guys up. Oops. Does Caroline have a boyfriend?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
So no big tears leaving to go off to university.
Not at all. She's so ready to go on an adventure.
Good to know. That's
And
great.
I think too with the kids, because they haven't been together for so long, like it's really, there's not any of that, oh, I'm gonna miss my friends. Like she's, you know, it's funny because they're saying they're gonna have a graduation in October. And she's like, no, like I haven't seen these people, most of these people in a year.
Yep.
Like, what's the draw really to even come back? Like, I remember I graduated high school in the fall, and it was, hey, you get to come back after, you know, maybe the summer or even just a couple of months being away at school, and you got to see everybody. She hasn't seen anybody since last year. Like, I mean, there've been people over the like last summer and stuff, but
yeah,
and a few people in class when she had in-person classes, but not much. So she's going away feeling very, yeah.
Like a fresh start.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah.
but a year for them is like a long time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like us where it was just this, like, you know, June of high school was saying goodbye, this big goodbye to people.
Yeah.
They are just moving on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then this pattern paper goes on the front panel, the part that sticks up on the lift there. And then you've got a piece of white that we're going to do some stamping on. So just like the last card, actually, we're going to ink up the large image in Memento, if you're going to color it with blends, that is. And then one thing I haven't bought is those new chalk things. Want to try those out. Somebody's doing, by the way, somebody is doing a demonstration, I think Desiree, on that on Saturday on the event.
I thought you were doing some of the chalk.
Yes. A new chalk mark, they're not really a marker. Pastels, I think they're called.
Yeah.
I haven't really focused my mind on those at all. At least I think that's what she said she was going to do. Okay, and so back to doing some coloring. And then this one has a lovely double matted layer. And that evergreen, evening evergreen ribbon. I did decide that I'm going to do the turtles next month. I was just waiting to make sure they didn't all go on back order. And I have two of the turtle bundles already. I bought them ahead of time just to make sure. And so if you're
I was hoping you were going to do that one soon.
yeah, it's cute and it's so perfect for summer.
Yeah.
I think it's adorable. All right, that's green done.
Okay, well, you can already count me in, Diane.
All right. Excellent. Cute.
I just got the what's it called? The symmetry one with the punch, like they're like little sprigs of.
Yes.
But I thought, oh, I wonder if you're going to do that one, and then I bought it, but I haven't played with it yet. I just got it on Monday. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. Or I guess Friday I got it.
Well, maybe you could do a swap card next time with it. That would be cool.
I did the peach. I did the peaches like you suggested.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. It was so pretty and nice and bright. I
Yes.
bought mine. I have to finish mine. I'm doing that whirl of wheel, so I have it. So I have to work on that tomorrow to get them in the mail.
It's interesting. The peach bundle does not use the new colors, like that paper.
Mhm.
You might use soft succulent, but the greens aren't the in colors.
Yeah, it's more garden green, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gorgeous paper though.
It is. Oh, and there's the paper there's the one sheet with the little tiny blue flowers.
Oh,
It's so pretty.
there we go. A little bit there, a little bit of that. And then I'm ready to mat this on the early evergreen first, and then the soft succulent after. I've already been through a pack of evergreen, a pack of succulent, and the better part of a pack of papaya. That's just crazy. With the swaps and the team things and whatever, it just didn't take long. Oh, shoot, I put that on the wrong one. Right after saying, we're going to go on to the evergreen. I'm going to try a Lynn's idea of breathing on it. She said someone did. I guess I've got hot breath. I'm a hot, what is that?
A little hot air.
Something like that. There we go. Let's try this again. This is a very tiny 1/8 of an inch border, of which
Yeah, I was
don't
gonna say
think
good
it-
for your cutting.
It's
You
hard
should
to
make them.
get those to line up nicely, but it looks really good.
Yeah, it does. This paper is so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Stacy, I really like the pansy guidance things that you, documents that you shared.
Oh, well, I'm glad. It
It
was
is-
just,
Oh, it's so
I
useful.
find that, what did, was it the peonies? Or one of them, I think it was a prize peonies that someone someone did that for originally. And so I find with the flowers, you get them and they're a little intimidating, right? Because you get them and it's like, okay, which piece is which and which is so I just, and then I just slide it in a clear envelope. What I did, like cut them down, and I didn't do it as a full sheet, and then I slide them into the a clear envelope and put them inside that stamp set, right? So they're nice and ready to go, right? So
I was very intimidated by that die set. So it, you know, as soon as I saw, I loved the instructions of like, this is what this piece is for. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, that's what that's for.
Well, because there's all these extra pieces, right? There's the pieces that the standard ones that cut everything out, which makes sense. And then there's the, oh, you know what I'm gonna do, as I know I'm gonna do this. I don't want to. I was gonna glue down the whole thing. You only want to do the bottom half.
Yep. So I was just going to pause there for anyone watching the replay. You want to just make sure you line this up with it flat and closed, that it doesn't extend beyond. That shouldn't happen, but you want to leave a little bit of the border showing. But remember, you only want adhesive on the bottom half of this piece. You don't want it to stick to the front, or your card will just open like that. So
I almost blew it. So I'm glad
yeah.
you were there.
Well, when you're chatting, right, it's just easy to muck it up. And then when you go to look to put it down, I've done that too. I put it down and then, oops, my adhesive is still sticking through. Ah, lucky, didn't happen this time. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this ribbon and tie a bow.
I love this new ribbon.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, love it. It is so easy to tie. Well, Craig took today off work. Normally he'd work on Tuesdays to spend the day with us, and got up at 5:45 this afternoon. So I see me staying up late tonight to hang out with him.
Well, you know what? He's on such a different time schedule.
Oh, totally. Like he works till 11 at night. So it's kind of hard to go to bed right away, or even to get to bed by 2, because your brain's still going.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we make do, but all like everyone got together to go Saturday over to Michelle and Kyle's, and that was just really, really nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just, that's the first time I've been at her house since her birthday last August. It's a long
That's
time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like I hadn't seen my grandkids except through the window since before Christmas. And then I was telling Diane, I'm helping now that they've had their one shot and I've had mine, I'm helping with daycare with my grandson. So he's having some challenges with the online learning. So well, he's in SK, and with the baby, like the baby's 14 months now, but still, you know, now he's busy. He wants to do things. So we're moving on to the next one, Diane.
This is the one. Many thanks from all of us. Yes, I also realize this one has no greeting unless you want to stick one in the center, or put a small one on the edge and add something to it. That's always an option.
That's okay. You don't always have to have a greeting on cards.
I know, that's the way I look at it. Sometimes it just, all the decorations take
Well,
up.
think of all the times that you would buy a package of note cards that didn't have anything on them.
Right.
It's very
Right.
easy to have blank cards.
All right, this one has lots of pieces.
Yeah.
Yes, so we've got our tent opening card, and we've got this absolutely gorgeous, hold it right side up, paper. with the purple and the white leaves on the back. So that's this little piece here, which kind of gets lost, but I'm just going to stick it underneath the greeting just to have some more layer. So this goes down on here again with a really small 1/8 inch. Well, actually, I guess it's 16th inch on each side, but 1/8 inch totally. So
You must have been seeing double doing all of this.
this I have to do on the small paper trimmer because in the big ones, it's too hard to get that lined up nicely. And sometimes, you know, you miss and something needs to be trimmed a little bit. But the little trimmer, like our individual trimmer ones, they're perfect for this. Okay, so there's that. And we're not putting any ribbon around it. So you can lay it right down or pop it up on dimensionals if you like. I think I'm going to lay it down because all the other stuff is kind of popped up. Did you see the digital download?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't. What was it?
It's on diversity. It's actually quite good. It's free. And you just go to any of the web store links to get it. I was hoping to use it at work and offer a class where I'd provide the basic nuts and bolts of a card, and then they would print off and color, but I don't think it's diversity enough in the sense of how we look at diversity at Homewood. So I'm not sure it's going to fit the bill, but we'll see. I'm going to chat with somebody when I get back to work. Okay, so this piece will eventually go here, and then the white just fits in between. It's just to give a little contrast. It could have been embossed. It could have been anything else. So this long white piece you have, that's what you're going to stamp your 3 flowers on. So it's 2 of the big ones, this one, and 1 of the smaller ones in Memento if you're going to color it in with your blends. Oops. Skinny again.
Gosh, Diane, thank you for all this work. Oh my goodness, the
Oh.
detail on this.
It seems like a lot with the flowers, but you know, when you and the last one's the only one we're really doing the leaves with, because they are a little bit more finicky. But yeah, with punching them out, what a godsend as compared to having to die cut. So I like to color them before I punch them out because it just gives you a little bit more to hold on to when you're coloring. I'm gonna go in with my,
So
the 1 in Freesia, and I'm doing 2 in yellow. Or heather, if you have Highland heather. Actually, that's right, because it's Highland heather that's on that. That's the paper. See if I can make the other Highland heather work. We're thinking it.
So, Jane, I wanted Diane to start talking about the card, but so he's only, so what they've done is they've pulled him from, he's only in SK, so there were a bunch of moms that said, look, it's too long for them to be on all day, so we're only going to do mornings, and then we'll still do the stuff you give us, but we'll do it on our own time and then send in the stuff. So 3 mornings a week, he's coming here and I'm working with him. So, but I'm actually really enjoying it. And he's a different kid with me because he's not going to push grandma's buttons the way he pushes mom's buttons, right? Plus there's no little kid around. So
yeah, there's no and yeah, you're not distracted in the same way I'm assuming his mom is, right? So
yeah. So
nice.
oh my goodness, my daffodil. This is one where I'm going to need a new one, Diane. My
Daffodil Delight
has seen its day. Wow.
Yeah, the ones that I find go are, and maybe it's because I use them so much, I don't know, but daffodil, old olive, flirty.
Well, it's because I use
flamingo.
this one a lot.
Yeah,
I do use this one a lot.
that's okay. I think I have 2 dark blackberry bliss, but no light, because when we could buy them as singles, that's what happened. But oh well, that's life. I figure I'll be good. And some of them are dark enough that having just the single's not a bad thing. With the dark, you can always use the light, the lifter, to change the color on it.
Yeah.
As well. I found when I did use these in classes with people, as opposed to just for myself, they did wear out much more easily. So that's why I kind of stuck to the same ones when I'm going to do a class, rather than having a lot of mine wear out. I just had like the same ones going to be wearing out. Like more like the classes where people aren't buying the product kind of thing. So sometimes in classes, there isn't time for people to do coloring as well.
The markers are the one thing that I don't have a lot of yet. So I'm having to improvise a bit with my blender pen. And things.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, that works too.
It's not as clean looking, but
Right.
it works.
It works. Like, yeah,
It's
exactly.
working just fine. Yeah,
And nobody knows what the card's really supposed to look like anyways.
exactly.
So
And these come in handy.
Yeah, I love the blender pen. I mean, that's all we had for years.
Although I used to wash them, and I think you were the one who, Diane said, "Nope, don't wash them. Just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. With all the ones I've used, like so many years of using them with customers, I have not replaced them too often. So they go a long, long way. All right, I've got some coloring done. I'm ready to punch.
So sometimes if we're doing crafts when he's done, of course, I'll let him use, well, it's not like you can go to Michael's and buy like a ton of cheap craft stuff. So I was letting him use some of my cardstock, my colored cardstock, but I was kind of like, okay, I don't want to keep letting him use that. So he laughed. So I went on to Staples because I needed some office supplies for home. So they actually had construction paper packages. So I wasn't paying really attention. I just saw because they hadn't had any before. Like sometimes you go on and they just don't have the supplies, or it's going to take forever to come because everybody's buying it from Staples or different places. So I saw they had construction paper. So I clicked. I didn't even look at the price. I wasn't really paying attention. It was just kind of like, they have construction paper. So I'm going to get some. So it didn't come with the first order. And I thought, okay, they're back ordered again. No big deal. I'll get here when it gets here. And anyways, it came today. What I did was I ordered full size construction paper. So like the 19 by 24 sheets.
Like poster
So
size.
Poster side. So we're going to have lots of construction paper it'll probably last till Bennett's ready to play with.
There you go.
Paper. So I'm not going to run out, but he's not going to have to use my stuff anymore.
There you go. There was a reason.
I just laughed when it showed up in this big box today. I'm like, what did I order that was that big?
Yes. And sometimes you get a box from Amazon and it's got, a small thing in it, but it's long and that's the only box it can come in.
David was laughing at it when he saw it.
David?
Yeah.
What did you buy?
Well, and I was looking he likes science experiments right now. So I was looking for like sort of fun little things that we could do that were like a kit. So I I found to make a, I can't say it right, terrarium, where you make like a little garden in a jar,
Yeah.
the jar. So we have
Yeah.
one of those to do that came. It was really cheap. I have one to make dinosaur soap. We can do one day.
That's fun.
No, I have a teacher friend. He teaches high school, but he has a son. I think he's in JK, and they basically decided to like they just didn't even enroll
Yeah.
them this year because he's like the whole point of junior and senior kindergarten is the whole socializing, sharing,
Yeah.
work, and they're not getting that anyways. So whatever
Mhm.
you're doing with them online really isn't what they need the most. So things like what you're doing
Mhm.
are like he's not losing out by not doing as many online stuff, like online things with
Well,
class.
here's the thing is, and so what I find is, like the other day, Ashley said, so what did they do today? And I actually said, they learned nothing. And it was because they were doing, they were sharing all the entire time. So you've got 20 kids online sharing that are turning on and off their mics to share. Well, no kindergarten kid can has the patience for that, right?
No.
So what I'm finding is, well, he's sitting there because I tell him like for that hour and a half, he's got to be listening in case the teacher asks. So what I've been doing is getting him to do crafts or worksheets while he's listening, right?
Mm.
So like I have all kinds of things for him to do at the desk while he's waiting. Like the other day I had my cat and dog punch out and he was punching out cat and dogs and different colors. And then we made a picture of like a picture for mom with them. So that's what you end up doing more than anything. So yeah, I don't think he's going to lose anything. I think he's going to catch up pretty fast.
Oh, sure.
The thing is he's not even catching up because none of the other kids are, it's not like they're
Falling behind or anything.
like, yeah, it's
Well, I
not
was
like
talking to someone that said for elementary school that the teachers are really going to have to realize like they're just going to have to go back like almost half a year worth of the year into the year before.
yeah. Well, I even read I read an article about because my daughter in grade 12 and you know, you think, oh, these kids, at least they have the attention span to sit online and whatever. But the challenge with what they're doing is, so for example, math, because my daughter takes a lot of maths, they had an interview with a math teacher, and he was like, basically we're given, I think it was 25 working days, like school days, to teach them a whole semester of, say, calculus. And the whole thing about math is muscle memory, like repetition and doing it over and over again. And he's like, these kids are going to go away to university next year and they are not going to remember it because they just didn't, it was taught to them in such a crash course because of this semester approach that they have not done the repetition to get it in their brains enough. So it's going to affect kids at all ages. Like
first year university is going to know that, right? Like they're going to know that they're going to need to and like I know when Rachel started university, I mean, she didn't take calculus, but for business, she had to write do a math exam. Okay. And she was freaking because it's a math of everything, right? Yeah. So she was like sort of boning up on basic things. Like, I had to get 80%. So if you didn't have one of them, you were going to be okay. But if you didn't pass it, you just had to take an extra course, right? So there'll be things like that are going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
most of the time kids don't want to take that extra course.
Yeah.
I don't want to take that math course.
Fair enough. So this one looks fairly complicated. It's just a matter of building it up from the bottom. Would have looked nice with this in yellow as well. Mm-hmm.
Very pretty.
Gorgeous. Go ahead and go on to the next one.
This paper is just absolutely stunning. All right, and then our last card is my favorite, for sure. And does it look familiar at all to anybody? It's similar to a card we did several months ago during celebration. And we had rectangles with the punch all around. It was that similar ideas where I came up with this one from. So, but I did see this lovely background, and this is more of the same paper, the, what's it called? Goodness.
This is pansy.
This is the pansy, yes. And I thought I wrote it down. I just said DSP. Oh, maybe it says, no, I just said the DSP. Yes, it's the pansy paper, but with this gorgeous gingham. So a bunch of those patterns,
Oh,
the backs have
I
this lovely
know.
gingham in different colors. So that's kind of fun. All right, so I don't need this big one anymore. And so yeah, that goes on the black. And then that goes on the soft succulent. So we'll get that put together. And then this piece over here, I cut your tag out with, and I've left, it's missing a piece by design. You're gonna do all your flowers and leaves out of that. So I'm gonna put this piece on dimensionals. And the tag comes from this new set called Tailor Made Tags. I'll show it to you. It has 8 different tags. And then the end, this is where that little black circle comes from. You have either circle ones or these more, I guess, I don't even know what that shape is. Looks, rounded on one end and squared at the top. So
how did you cut it? How do you cut it out then?
So this you run through and it creates the double hole, like the whole circle.
Oh, okay.
And you get 4. I don't know why it's 4 and 3. That's been a lot of question too, because it seems weird, but and then these you cut out separately. So this one came out. This is what it left behind.
Okay.
And it's stitched here. And then we're just going to glue that little circle onto the
Oh,
end.
I get it now. Okay. I
And
couldn't
it makes
see
it
I was
look,
looking at it through.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's going to give you
Yeah.
the little tag end. So I hadn't used these much yet. I mean, they are new, I know that, but it was fun to kind of play with those as well. So let's get this part done first. Where's my tag? Must be in my envelope still.
That's where mine was.
Okay. Phew. I was beginning to think I forgot to put them in. Nope, there they are.
No, one was still stuck in there.
Yeah, so that's how it cuts out with the lovely stitching around it and the little hole. So I'll stamp it first and then let's make sure those are all ready to go down. Hi, bud. How are you? Handsome doggy who got all cleaned up at the groomers. Thank you for everything. Oh, because, all I do is watch Netflix. I'm going to promote the newest things I've been watching. I watched The Kaminsky Method.
Okay, is it good?
Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin. Very good. Very good. I guess I thought it was more of a movie, not like a mini series or a TV show. So there's still some, it's like stopped the episodes that I can watch for now. Very funny. And I've watched, oh gosh, I wish I could remember what this other one was called because it was funny too. It's got a series as well. But then the other one I watched was Halston, about the designer.
Oh,
So if you're younger than us,
I haven't watched it, but noticed it. Is it good?
it's very good. It's okay. It's got a lot of drug use and sex scenes and all that, but
that was
I mean,
the era.
that was the lifestyle in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
And so it's true to form that way, but it's sad, it's poignant, it's interesting. And I learned a lot about the fashion industry that I didn't know was all part of it. And then he was very good friends with Liza Minnelli. So there's a gal in there that plays Liza Minnelli as a young woman. So yeah, I would recommend that one. I think it's about 7 or 8 episodes in the mini series, and it does wrap up.
Okay.
So I thought it was good.
So did you used to use white glue to glue these on?
The little dot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had to do that. Little dab of that. I mean, you don't have to put it there, but it goes around. It kind of adds a little more to it.
No, I like it. I would never have figured out what that was for. So I'm glad that you went through the effort of doing this. Thank you again.
No problem. It's one of those teeny pieces. And then once it's dry, you can actually put your baker's twine through it and tie it, because it actually goes right through the hole. So the baker's twine comes with 5 colors. Some are 5 yards and some are 10 yards. And I know right away that I'm going to need to buy multiple packages of it, because there's certain I'm going to use way more than others. The black is only 5 yards of it, which goes really fast when we're used to having baker's twine in 25
Really?
packages.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, so where is it?
Well, now I'm looking at it. Here's my package. So I didn't realize that some are thicker than the others, but you're right.
There's more to them. Yes, yes.
Yes. Well,
So-
isn't that interesting?
I was like, wait a second. So for the video
Okay.
watchers, I will look it up. And it says Baker's Twine Essentials Pack, $15, 5 spools. Crumb cake and white are 10 yards of each. Black, gray granite, and very vanilla are 5 yards of each. So I know that I'm going to use black so much more. That's okay. I'm thinking of using it in my next monthly card class, and I think maybe there's a way that I can include the baker's twine in the price of the class or something, so that people can use as much as they want and not feel like, you know, they're skimped out on some pieces. Okay, so that's that part done. Now it's about the flowers. Find my piece here. And so that's the bigger of the 3, or whatever you want to do. And then the 2 sizes of leaves, because they punch out both sizes. So for the leaves, I would suggest you cut your piece of paper kind of long ways, so you have a thin piece that goes right across, or that you can just stick a piece in the corner like that, so you don't waste too much. And there is a way people have done where they'll punch out a 3x3 square like this and use it as a template for stamping, but I'm just not that good at to be able to stamp in the holes. So I will do, and everything's getting stamped in Memento. This one here. I think I will. Yeah, I don't want to get carried away. I think I'm going to get them done, and then whatever scrap piece I have left. I didn't have a layout for this specifically. I will use for doing my leaves, so I can color them first. So papaya, polished, nice and bright, and fresh fuchsia. I think I actually did do, oh no, I wrote fresh fuchsia. I had to write that in. I completely forgot to write that in as I was when I put the kits together. I do the tutorials ahead of time. And when I put the kits together, I look back and go, oh, I forgot something. And then had to handwrite it in. That's what I do on my lunch hour, is my tutorials. When it's quiet, I can close the door. Nobody comes in and bothers me. we're having a lot of change coming along. We're having a number of doctors leaving and retiring and changing, and a bunch of new people coming on. So change that way.
I saw on your I think it was your Facebook post the one day that you had, you had a snack day? Was it butter tarts or something? And
Yeah.
you made me miss work so much. I was like, oh, these are the little things, even though I'm sure having to work in person over the last year has been stressful.
Yes.
I was like, oh, she gets to have like snack, like, potlucks, or like bring a snack for other people, those social things.
Well, we don't get to do that. We're not allowed to have any of that. We can't bring stuff in, but the cafeteria.
Oh, it was the cafeteria. That's what it was.
Yeah, the cafeteria is starting to, is offering this new thing, like, because we always have breakfast, lunch, and dinner options. Like, you can buy dinner to go and order it to pick up at 4 o'clock when you leave.
Oh.
And I've done that with the turkey dinner before, because it's like, I don't know, $8 or something. I can't feed my kids for that. So it's nice and it's done. But the butter tart thing was, they did a new thing now with the breakfasts are always great, but you can have coffee and a butter tart, or coffee and a date square. And that's the piece that got me, was the date squares.
That's what it was. I knew there was something about snacks, and I'm like, oh,
Yes.
just to be able to walk down to the cafeteria and
Yes.
the
And then
snack.
we have a staff association, which normally through the year, they'll do things like, we'll have a time where we can get together in the big lecture theater, and they'll put movies on. We've done Christmas Vacation at Christmas time, and Halloween movies, and you can go in there and they do pizza, and then they'll do high five events, they call them, where everybody gets ice cream, and you just go in, sometimes we get like cherry cobbler and ice cream, or whatever they have going on, they'll get made and brought in. And so this past week on Thursday, it was Thursday. We got, bless you, to go to the cafeteria and pick up a small calancho plant. It was in like a 3-inch pot, 2-inch pot maybe, and pick the color that you want. There were oodles of them. And then we also got snacks, so a chocolate bar or gum and a pop, and that was our little treat. But then they also, with the money, we all have to pay $4 a month for this, and they pulled 40 names of people who won $50 gift certificates to various nurseries or Home Depot or Rona.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Didn't win one of those, but I've won many times for like storm tickets and such. So what they said recently was that they wanted to start promoting buying local and supporting local small business. So they asked for my help to do a survey that we do on our intranet. So I wrote that for them, and it's sort of like, do you have a small business? Can we help you promote it? And they're going to buy prizes from the small businesses.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so people like me, and who knows, like, it could be someone who does home renovations or painting, could be anything, right? And so anyway, that just seemed like a fun thing. And then they'll buy gift certificates for those people's things. Yeah. Which is interesting, because we have a policy against promoting your personal businesses at work, but if they're going to do it for you,
then that's okay.
That's okay. So I'm waiting for them to get approval for it somehow. I don't know, but anyway, we'll see. And so we get all kinds of fun things like that. They're very good to us.
Be interesting to see how everybody's world will have changed that way. Do you know what? Like, people like rethinking things like that and everything.
Like, I wonder, because I don't see a lot of very big corporations going back to paying the high rents and all that for people to come into work, if people will retire early and do other things because of, going back, you're expecting a year and a half afterwards to go back, and sorry, your job is still there, but you have to work from home.
Yeah. My boss retired. She had about, I think, 12 to 18 months left. And this pandemic, and I think, to be all, I will be stereotypical a little bit, later on in your career, probably not what you expected is to be working from home. And I mean, for any of us really, but especially I think there's a generation who struggles a little bit more with some of the technology. And anyways, she decided after Christmas, she thought long and hard of it over Christmas, and was like, nope, I'm leaving. Like, and I'm sure she will work. Like, I think it's going to be, she's just turned 60.
Mm.
So it's, I think we're going to see, these people who've been commuting to Toronto, and all of a sudden, realize how much of their life they've been giving up commuting maybe. And, it's like, hey, if I have the opportunity to retire a bit early, yes, I might lose some money, but then maybe I'll do something else that will, I can take a risk. And
I think a lot of it's going to depend on what kind of personality you are. If you're an introvert or an extrovert, if you kind of miss that time with, like, Rachel figures that what they'll do is they'll bring you in. It'll be split. So you'll come in for maybe 3 days a week or 2 days a week. And that'll be like meeting days and stuff. And then the rest of the time you'll have options, right? So that they don't need as much
Mm-hmm.
space.
That's what I think will happen too. Yeah.
So this is what
She's
I did
loving
for these ones.
Oh, go ahead.
I just cut a strip off of that paper and I just put them there so that when I slip them into the punch, I can just do them one at a time and punch them out. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the little one with another small strip. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's fine. No.
It's definitely going to be different.
She's loving being in downtown Toronto right now as a local. She goes for these long walks and she says, oh my gosh, like all the beautiful little parks and little places, and there's just nobody. She doesn't love summer in Toronto because of all the tourists. So she's been sending us the most beautiful photos of these. I'm like, where the heck are you? And she goes, oh, I'm at one of my little favorite parks that's completely empty right now in the middle of, the concrete jungle that you don't even know is there.
Is Toronto where they have that park that they did the 12-inch circles with chalk?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on TV. I thought it was a fascinating idea.
Yeah, no, they did that last summer too.
Yeah. I forget the name of the park. And I was like, oh, that's thinking outside the box, people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think we will never go back full time. I think the talk is definitely that it'll be 2 or 3 times a week, which, you know what, I'm okay with the balance. Like, it's just going from one extreme to the other has been difficult, but to do a balance, I'm okay with that, Spend half of my week at home and then get.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I also wonder, I would like to, I think we'll spend 5, maybe even 10 years doing that. And then I think from an innovation standpoint, there's only so much you can do. Yeah. And I think we're going to find there's like this gradual shift back. It'll be interesting to see, but it's kind of my.
Well, it depends if your client, like, so Rachel has to see clients, right? So that's where they'll be, like, one day will be client meetings, right? And then that's when you'll have to go into the office, right? And everything. Right. So.
Well, when they moved away from everyone having desks and they had those communal areas that you'd work.
Well, that's what Rachel's office was.
Yeah. And so this is just kind of an extension of that in a way.
Well, she doesn't know what they're going to do when they go back because, that's the way when she left, but you can't have that with COVID, right? So.
And they don't have that many people working when they did before COVID, right? And her company.
Yeah. So.
I don't know. The hospital hasn't changed at all.
No. So I think it depends on your industry.
We have meeting rooms with dots on chairs and dots on tables that show you where you're allowed to sit. So you're 6 feet apart. And it's kind of funny.
And you think of, One Stone Road, if you've ever been there for Service Ontario or whatever.
Yes.
It's a complete ghost town, except for the Service Ontario, like absolute ghost town. That huge building. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do, if they'll rent out, like, I think we're sprawled over 5 floors.
Mm.
So it'll be interesting. Are they going to condense us down to say 3 or 2 floors and then rent out space? And who knows?
Yes, so Service Canada or Service Ontario, it's still open?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh,
It's an essential service, but they've moved to doing a lot more stuff online, and you have appointment. You get an appointment. So you go online and book an appointment to go.
okay.
But that's the way they've been doing it in Toronto for the longest time.
Like, it's
Yes.
kind of nice, actually. Then you don't have
Yeah,
to,
like Rachel laughs every time she had to renew her driver's license in Toronto. She's like, I just make an appointment and I
Yeah.
go. And whereas we have to stand in line forever, and I just laugh. I'm like,
I've actually been able to book an appointment here for a long time. I just don't think that they really marketed it very well.
No.
Like, I would say at least 5, maybe more years you've been able to book an appointment, but now they won't. If you walk in, they'll give you an appointment and you have to leave and then come back.
Okay. But it's kind of like when you go for blood work, because people don't know you can book your blood work appointments.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I can
And-
wait now. Yeah.
Like
I always
that's-
feel guilty when I book my appointment, because then I go to the line that says appointments only, and there's this huge long line and people are looking at me like I have 2 heads, and
Yep.
why do you get to, and then you're in the waiting room, and it's like only like 7 people allowed in the waiting room where I go. And
Yeah.
like, then they call you right away, and all these other people are sitting there, and it's always feel bad, but then I'm like, okay, you guys, you saw me. So like, obviously, I booked an appointment, so do it.
Well, book your own appointment next time. Okay, so once you got all your little leaves done, because that's the more consuming part of this one, then it's just about putting them together. And they're pretty small when you to get them on the edge to see all the work you put into them, but they're kind of cute. I'm going to use glue dots, I think.
Oh, shoot. I didn't do these leaves very good. These big leaves to get them cut out. May need to use the Post-it note trick.
You may just have to turn them around.
No, if I
No,
do one, then it's gonna be, do you
Oh.
know what I mean? Like, where
right
you,
into the next one.
yeah, so, but if I'll have to use the Post-it note on it to hold it in place to get it in there.
Hey Diane, I always keep these little bags you give us,
Oh, yeah?
and I do use them. Like, it's great because I throw little things in them and stuff, but do you like want them back?
Yeah,
you
I mean, I'll keep using them. So it saves me having to buy more Ziplocs and such. Sure.
No, because I'm just like, I throw them in my little multi-purpose bin here, and yeah, then I
Sure.
just thought, like, here's another one today. Maybe you would actually want those back.
Sure, you can, next time you're by with stuff, sure, I'd love to have it back. Thank you. for
Where'd the
thinking
other
of me.
leaf go?
Okay. Yes, they can fly around and get lost.
So you used all the stamp sets except for one.
The only one I didn't use was Life is Better with Friends Like You. Yes.
Yeah, because I was putting them on as we went.
Maybe that's what I was thinking for the big one, the easel card one that could have gone in the center. And then
Yeah,
forgot. to
actually, you
skip it.
could.
That's pretty good, huh?
That's awesome.
I'm not sure how much I would use the leaves, but I would definitely use the flower a lot. And the flower is great, like we did on the papaya one. You can stamp it in one color and on its designer series or its colored paper and get just the outline.
Mhm.
Works really good. Okay, so all my flowers are done now. And I can just slip this on. So yes, the idea of this card came from that one with all the postage pieces and the flowers. And I thought, wait a second, this is going to work like that.
So was Craig able to go on the weekend with you too then to see Michelle?
Yeah, he did. He came on Sunday and because he's off Sundays. And then
That must have been nice for you to have everybody together.
oh, it was so nice. And actually, Stace, we left Riley home alone and we did not crate him. And we thought, well, we got to get there some point in time. And he doesn't even go in his crate anymore. And I'm thinking it's still his home, right? It's still his place. But anyway, not a thing was out of place. So he did fine.
So Bartlett's 5 and she still uses her crate. The doors hasn't been shut, I think, since she was 1. But she still throughout the day, we just say that she's giving herself a nap.
Well, yeah.
All of a sudden we'll hear her. And if I come home, I find that she's oh, guess what? I only made enough leaves for 1 card.
Oh, no.
Back you
That's
go.
okay.
Back to work.
Now I know which way to put them in. That's okay. I have a little piece of every card left to do. I just was trying to keep up with you guys. So everything's sort of done. I just have to glue them together, like sort of assemble. So that's no big deal. David has his Optivus meeting right now anyway. So kind of works out this.
This time works out well.
Yeah.
All right. So that is everything used. And that's our last cards. So pull all 4 in here for one last shot and then can kind of close this up.
Is that embossing folder in the catalog that you used on the first card? Or is that an older one?
That is the painted texture one. So it's not new. The new ones, there are a few new ones. The bark is one of the new ones, but no, that was just the painted texture one.
Okay, it's pretty.
Yeah, you know, it's more than just with that art floral paper and such. It's more than that. It gives a little bit of it just gives some general nice texture. It doesn't look like you're trying to do a painting, which is kind of a nice thing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.